Hello everybody, my name is Primal and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing all the monsters you can get in the Primal Elements maze. Starting off with our little pal Crushmore here. In terms of stats and trait, I think he's pretty good, but what you look for in rares are moves, and he doesn't have very good ones. He has an AoE daze, that's pretty good I guess. He has a 50% shield, that's alright. He can heal himself. He can give himself regen. He has an AoE 30% shield, and he has an AoE slow, which is, by the way, a 40% chance. You know, all AoE slows are a 40% chance, even if it says maze slow. So yeah, not a very good rare. He is also in no book, as you can see here. So I mean, you're gonna end up getting him, but he's not a very good rare. There's much better rares to use instead of this guy. Anyways, moving on to Cold Burst. In terms of stats, this epic does not have very good stats at all. In terms of straight immunity to freeze, that's pretty good. He is only in the Underworld book, so that is a very low selection of books. Better than Crushmore though, he's in no books. This is his best move. It's an AoE 50% stamina drain. That's never bad. He also has a single freeze here. He has a 0 turn cooldown Nightmares. He has a 50 damage hit, 60 damage hit, 50 damage hit with Nightmares. Not very spectacular. I mean, he's alright, I guess, because of this skill and because of the freeze. He's not gonna be doing much damage even with the 60 damage skill because of his low power. But yeah, I guess Cold Burst is okay. You're probably gonna end up getting him, but don't be sad if you can't get him, because you're not gonna be using him basically. Moving on to Salamander, this guy is really good in terms of stats. He completely outranks Cold Burst in every category. In terms of straight, he is worse though. Immunity to burning, that's very bad for epics. I mean, he's a fire epic, but that doesn't matter because he's always gonna be used only in the epic category. In terms of book, Underworld again. So yeah, very low book selection, but still. And in terms of moves, he has this move, which is an AoE ignite, and the only monster with an AoE ignite before this guy was Kai the Eradicator, and he's a VIP monster, so you know, he was completely inaccessible to a lot of people. That's a really good skill. He also has an AoE fire weakness, that's never bad, and an AoE magnetize. And keep in mind, I mean, you can combo these two together and this is gonna do a lot of damage, or you can combo these two together and it's gonna do even more damage. He also has a single ignite skill, a single magnetize skill, and a 55 damage metal based damage skill. Salamander is a pretty good epic in my opinion, mostly because of this move. He can really DOT the opponents with this, and yeah, I definitely recommend getting him, especially since he is part of the monster merit reward, you know. And if you get him, Tephra, and Living Forest, you get another free legendary, and it's Metalhead, and Metalhead is a very good legendary. He is also in the Underworld book and might be Bad Legions or something as well. He is a very good monster, so you definitely want to try to get Salamander, Tephra, and Living Forest out of this maze. Speaking of Tephra, here he is in all his bulky glory. In terms of stats, Tephra has very bad speed, not very good power, but a very tanky life. 33k, this is an insane amount of health. In terms of books, again, what's up with Underworld in this maze? Low book selection. Immunity to burning, not very good. I mean, it's better because he's a fire monster and you're going to be using him in the fire legendary. Actually, no, you're not going to be ever using him, but if you would use him, you would use him in the fire legendary or maybe Underworld, I guess. But so yeah, immunity to burning is not that bad, but it's still not good. In terms of moves, he has Lava Fall here. It's a 45 damage fire based AoE, and Lava Mist here, which is a 30 damage fire based AoE, but it also applies sticky lava to all the targets. So if he combos Lava Mist and Lava Fall together, the enemy team is out of there. He also has a Magma Avalanche here, massive fire damage, 75 fire based damage, 1 turn cooldown. This is gonna kill anything that's not a fire monster, and you know, if they have fire weakness, they're definitely dead after this. He also has a 65 damage fire skill, which I wouldn't recommend running. And here we have a 50 special base damage burn skill. Again, 1 turn cooldown. This guy does not worry about cooldowns very much. You know, he has 1, 1, 0, 1, 3, and 3. But the 3s are on the AoEs, so yeah, in terms of cooldowns, he's pretty good. What would I run on this guy? I guess I'd run Lava Mist. I guess I'd run Lava Fall, Magma Avalanche, and probably the Basalt Pokes. Honestly, I don't really care about the cooldown being 0 too much here, and the burning is definitely better than the sticky lava in this case. And in terms of runes, what would you run for Tephra? Standard attacker build. If you go with my first skill set, I guess you could do a support skill set, which the only move you'd really need is Lava Mist and maybe this one. The idea of the skill set is to basically just give the enemy team sticky lava and then bring another fire monster that can just completely clean them up in their first turn. But yeah, for the attacker skill set, I said before, lava mist, magma avalanche, basalt pokes, and lava fall, I would definitely do the standard attacker build set, so 2 strength and 1 speed, or 1 strength and 2 speed depending on the level of your runes and the level of Tephra. But if you want to go with a supportive skill set, you have to make sure Tephra goes before your fire attacker, so I guess depending on how fast your fire attacker is, you might have to even do free speed runes. Actually, you're probably gonna have to do free speed runes because Tephra, yeah, it is. And if you only have to put 2 or 1 individual speed on Tephra in order for him to outspeed your attacker, I'd just put the others as team speed. But yeah, all in all, Tephra is not a very good monster. I recommend getting him only because of the monster merit reward, otherwise he is not very good in terms of fire or underworld. Moving on to the first new legendary monster of this maze, Living Forest. In terms of stats, he has a pretty bad power, well, not bad power, just a mediocre power, a pretty decent life, and a very high speed, 3498. I believe this is the highest speed out of all nature legendary monsters. Might be tied with someone, but I know there's no one higher than this. At least I think so. Don't flame me in the comments if I'm wrong. He's very fast is my point. Trait is hardened. All status effects have a 20% less accuracy against it. This trait is just becoming better and better, I feel like, you know, because all the elements are getting all different kinds of denies. Freezes, stuns, possessions, mega stuns, whatever, you name it. And hardened has a 20% chance of evading absolutely anything. It can be any status effects and it evades it. In terms of books, he has a pretty wide selection. Superheroes, which is a book that's not currently in the rotation. Good Legions, another book that's currently not in the rotation, but Spirits is very much in the rotation, and it's like every second war you'll see Spirits as one of the restrictions, and I hate it, but at least this guy will bring some more variety to it. In terms of moves, this is in my opinion his coolest one. It's a single ally move that doubles the ally's maximum life and applies taunt to them. This, if you don't know what taunt is protection, so it's basically all single targeted attacks are going to be targeted towards the monster with taunt. And if it's a very tanky monster, and if they have something like damage return, oh god, this can combo so well with that. I absolutely love this skill. This skill is amazing. It also costs a very low amount of stamina. And then he has this skill here, Kinabalu, applies mirror, removes all negative status effects, and heals one ally by 30%. Another amazing skill in my opinion. I mean, the cooldowns of these two are kind of high. I think this one should be free, and I think this one's alright, but still, this is another amazing skill. If you combo these two together, this is going to be devastating, to say the least. I can just imagine running Demise, this guy, and an attacker with like free strength wounds. This guy does the Daintree first. Actually, no, Demise gives him the extra turn. This guy does Daintree and then does Kinabalu on the attacker with free strength wounds, and the enemy team is just kind of out there. Then he also has this skill, which is an AoE for the special base damage. Applies nature weakness, water weakness, and earth weakness. This is a weaker skill of Guava Juice's one. Guava Juice, I believe, does a bit more damage. It's nature based, so that's worse, but it applies nature weakness, water weakness, and earth weakness, but it's an 80% weakness instead of a 50%. All in all, this skill is still very powerful. If you combo this with any attacker that has a nature AoE, a water AoE, an earth AoE, the enemy team is probably just out of there. Then he has a poison and removes buffs AoE. This is a pretty good move as well. And the damage reduction AoE, that's not that great either. You know, he's not an attacker, he's not gonna be doing much damage. I guess the damage reduction can kind of help you, but this is definitely not a skill I would run on this guy. Then he has this skill, which I'm not gonna try to pronounce. It is an all ally skill, heals them by 30% and removes all debuffs. And keep in mind, this skill only has 1 turn cooldown. This is a very good skill. You definitely want to run this, in my opinion. So what do you want to run on this guy? I would go with this, Daintree, Kinabalu, and Mindo Nabilo. What are these names? This is, in my opinion, by far the best skill set. I guess you could also run Sunderbands, but I don't really see much point in it. I don't like the skill that much. And remove buffs is always nice, but I think these 4 are just simply better. As for the rune set of this guy, I definitely go for either all speed or all team speed. Well, I think I'll probably go for 1 speed and 2 team speed, or maybe just all team speed. This guy is a complete supportive monster. You don't need anything else on him. But yeah, he's a supportive monster. He's a very good supportive monster. You definitely want to try to get him. The double life and the mirror skill are very good skills in my opinion, and I can't wait to use this guy. Moving on, we have Frostbite, and Frostbite is one of the best water legendaries in the game. In terms of power, he has a very high power, a mediocre life, and a 30 speed. That's not that bad of speed. Trait is awful, and in terms of books, it doesn't even say that he is in no books. It just says book and this. So yeah, he is in no books though. He is not in any book. Not very good for Frostbite here. In terms of skills, he is a very good monster. He has this, which it says single enemy, but that's only for the stamina drain. So it drains 100% of a single enemy stamina, but it's an AoE freeze as well. This is an absolutely amazing move. He also has Piercing Rainfall, another AoE freeze. He also has Arctic Boost, which is an amazing ally skill. It gives double damage and replenishes 50% of all ally stamina. And then he also has this skill here, which removes 100% of stamina from target and gains 40% of stamina. And this is, in my opinion, by far the best skill set. So Piercing Rainfall, Arctic Boost, Glacial Snowstorm, and Ice Leech. Frozen Gust is a pretty good skill, but I would not run it over any of the other ones. Angelic Strike is not a pretty good skill. Some people have the argument you can run this guy as an attacker, and if you have the argument for this guy, I mean, he has a high power, but in terms of moves, he only has 50 as his highest damage move, and he has a 40 damage AoE. If you can make an argument to run this guy as an attacker, you can make an argument to run Thetis as an attacker. It's just so retarded. Don't run this guy as an attacker. And in terms of wounds, this guy's a pure denier, so you want to do all speed. Again, Frostbite is an amazing monster. Sadly, he's not in any book, so I guess that kind of favors the other water deniers over him, because, you know, almost every single one of those are in the C book. But he is still, in my opinion, one of the best water monsters in the game, and you should definitely try to get him. Now, if you had to choose between one of the monster merit reward requirement monsters, so Salamander, Tephra, and Living Forest, I would say get the monster merit reward, because then you also get another monster metalhead. But I guess if you're already done for the, if you're already good in the Underworld book, if you're already good for the metal element, and you really need a good water type denier monster, I guess you could get him, yeah. But if you're really active, you can get him and all the other monster merit reward monsters, and you can go on your merry way, having gotten 4 legendaries from an event that only lasts for a week. Anyways, the last monster is Gaia Nova. I have no clue why the N is capitalized. This is kind of, I guess this might be a reference to Voltic, because let's take a look here. Voltic's last letter is for some reason capitalized. I have no clue why, but this one is kind of similar to Voltic, and we'll get to know why a bit later. In terms of stats, Gaia Nova does not have very prestigious stats. She has a really high speed, but life and power just not good at all for earth monsters. In terms of trait hardened, again, it's a really good trait. Books, it's a pretty wide variety of books. Female, superheroes, and good legions. Again, these two aren't in the rotation yet, and I hope they're gonna be in the rotation soon, because I'm really bored of the current books. But female definitely is, and it's a sort of, well, it's not a very common book. That's not good for Gaia Nova, but it's there. In terms of moves, let's first take a look at Mudslide here. Gives 50% of stamina to itself, gives 1 extra turn to itself. Wow, this is a pretty cool skill, you know, it replenishes some stamina. It doesn't cost much at all, and it gives her an extra turn. So all in all, it's just a free 49 stamina, and it also chips off the other skills cooldowns, which you'll see. Let's take a look at Rock Slide here. It's a very high cooldown skill. It's a 4-turn cooldown skill, and it just gets worse. But it's a single enemy, 35 special base damage. Okay, that sucks, but it gives her 1 extra turn. So that's what it makes her good. This is what I was talking about when I said she was similar to Voltic. And then she has Avalanche here, which is a 25 damage special based AoE. It says single enemy, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be changed to AoE, because otherwise it would be just a way worse version of this skill. And again, it gives 1 extra turn to herself, so this is a very powerful skill. But the cooldown on this one, damn, 5. I mean, you really have to run this skill, in my opinion, just to chip off the other 2 cooldowns. I mean, they kind of chip off each other's cooldowns, I guess, but still, Mudslide is a very essential skill of this monster. In terms of other moves, there's not much to her at all. I mean, this is a quicksand skill, no, and this is an AoE quicksand. I think it's pretty obvious what you should run: Avalanche, Massive Gravel Dust, Rock Slide, and Mudslide. In terms of runes, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, she's similar to Voltic. Let's put 29 stamina runes on her. It's gonna be a very good, very amazing idea, even though her skills cost like next to no stamina. No, don't do that, please. Put the standard attack rune set on her. You could also convert her from 2 strength 1 speed to 1 strength 2 speed a bit earlier, because of her, you know, she has a crazy amount of damage. 35 and then 25 AoE and then 35 AoE. Their health is just gonna be gone by that point. So 1 strength wound on Gaia Nova is perfectly enough. She is really good, I'll give her that. She's not anything too insane. but she definitely deserves the last spot of this maze. She's definitely the best monster of this maze, and you should not try to get her actually, because it's kind of impossible to get her. I mean, maybe, but it would have to, you'd have to give up all the other legendaries pretty much in order to get her, and I just don't think that it's a good trade-off. If you want, you can buy some coins and get her, I guess, but that's not worth it at all. You can buy her for 249 gems in like 2 months, so I would just wait for her, buy her then. Do I like this monster? No, I don't like her at all. I hate her a lot. I don't like her design. I love Living Forest and Salamander here in terms of the new monsters from this maze, but her, no, I don't like her that much. But yeah guys, that's it for this review of all the monsters in the maze, and I'll see you next time.